Welcome to the first episode in a video series that I'm doing to help new players from the Royal Colonial Guard to get started with Elite Dangerous. I understand that it can be an incredible mountain to climb, and you get into the game and you have no idea what you're doing. So this video series is aimed to help you. I have wiped a clean slate. I am sitting in a stock sidewinder. And we're going to get started here. So I through the video, I'm going to assume that you have done the tutorials. I highly suggest you do them. Get a feeling of the ship. It's going to walk you through the buttons you have to press. And when you get to this stage, after you've done the training, you will be given a mission. And we'll just run through the, Theo will tell you a few things. He'll say, welcome to Mason Dock. Make yourself comfortable while we finish some preliminary ship checks. Welcome to your new ship commander. Your Pilot's Federation license has been issued and you're free to traverse the galaxy as an independent pilot. Before launching for the first time, allow me to quickly introduce the basic interface for mission contracts. Almost all pilots use the mission board at some stage. A contract has been assigned to you. Active missions are displayed in the Transactions tab of the external interface panel. Okay, so let's handle that first. They give you a tutorial mission. You can just launch off and do it, but if you look over into your left panel and you can tab over to these different planes, in the transaction tab here, you're going to see any missions that you have. You're also going to see, if you look at the left side, you're going to see any passenger missions you might have taken, claims, bounties, all that information is going to be there, and of course the top tab will just show you everything. So the welcome mission is just go to Drami. And dock Mason Dock in Drami and collect the reward. Aren't we there? No, we're in the Matet system. Drami. And why did it say welcome to Mason Dock? Weird. Anyways, so I would highly suggest before you actually take off to go into Starport Services and look at the mission board here. I know you might be a little bit leery of doing this, but in the starter area, this is a huge pro tip, guys. The NPCs in the starter area don't shoot back at you. Okay, so a lot of this stuff, source and return, nope. You don't have enough money to buy probably 4 units of that. You only have 1,000 credits. We could go, okay, well, let's deliver mineral oil. Okay, the problem with this is I only have 2 tons of cargo space. And let me check. See, I don't really think that I can even afford to get a better cargo rack. So the best I could do is a size 2, which I have a vehicle with, and they didn't give me an SRV. Wonderful. Okay, so let's browse the shop and see if we can actually afford. We cannot. Okay, so we can't even afford a cargo rack to be able to haul that cargo. So we'd have to make 3 trips back and forth to make, what was it, 30,000 credits? Yeah, 25,000 or 33,000 credits. 3 trips back and forth. What I'm going to recommend you do is just take the plunge. Okay, let's kill a pirate. Accept it. Okay, and let's take down this guy as well. And massacre these guys. How many? 5 of them for 43,000. Okay, good. So now that you've taken some combat missions, your ship, if you look at the outfitting, sorry, I'm going very fast, has 2 small pulse lasers, gimbaled. Okay, so you can fight some stuff. And this is in the right side there in outfitting. You just click into there. And your hard points are your weapons. Your utility mounts are things like chaff launchers, heat sinks, and shield boosters. But we can't afford any of that. So you're not really going to be able to buy anything out of the gate. You've got to do some work first. And your optional internals, of course, are your shield generator, things like cargo racks. But we don't really have a whole heck of a lot. So we're going to go try and shoot some pirates. And this is definitely how I would recommend that you get started. So once you've taken a couple of kill contracts, you just press the auto launch and off you go. So if you again go to the left hand panel, I think we're going to handle this first. Welcome to the galaxy. Okay, so you click this, and at the bottom there it gives you some options. This is a really handy way to find out where you're going to go. You go to open galaxy map, and you can see these little blue symbols. It tells you where you have missions. So what we know is because the system automatically brings you to the mission that you selected. So that's if you select open galaxy map through the mission panel, it'll automatically bring you to where you're supposed to go for that mission. So you click this one here, and it will plot your route to that system. 7 light years away, we are going to Drami. So we exit back out of there, and our ship is waiting in a queue to get out of the station. So I'm going to come back to you when we have exited the station. Never mind. It looks like we're going to go. Okay, so off we go to Drami. So you line up, you can see that Drami is right there, just past the pan, and it is clear, so we're okay. And in the bottom right, you can see mass locked. When that is highlighted, you can't jump yet. You're being locked there by the station, and you can see now that it has come away and we are no longer mass locked. Now that that happens, you are clear to jump away from the station. So we're going to engage our hyperdrive, and here we go. It will charge, and as long as you have your throttle set to full, you can't have 0 throttle all the way forwards. Your ship will jump once it's charged. Okay, so now we have arrived in the Drami system, and we can look here, and our map, our navigation map, highlights where we need to go in blue. Okay, so we need to go to Mason Dock. So if we select that through the panel, you're going to get an option here for Super Cruise. You can either lock destination and fly there manually yourself, or you can lock in your Super Cruise Assist. So we're going to do that. Lock in the Super Cruise Assist, and it will highlight the station and say align with destination. So you can see kind of in the radar in the center of the screen, just to the upper left of that, you can see another circular gimbal radar. That blue circle in the center, or the bottom as it is right now, that is what you have targeted. When it is hollow, it means it's behind you. When it's fully shaded in, it's in front of you. So we're going to bank up so that that comes back around, and you'll see it come back up from the bottom. Here we go. And now you can see that that circle is fully shaded, and we can line our crosshairs up with it. And as soon as we do, our Super Cruise Assist engages. That's what is known as a gimbal lock. Okay, so we have a gimbal lock on Mason's Dock, and we are headed there right now. Now throughout this series, I'm not going to be showing you all the basics. This first video is to kind of cover the basics. We're going to cover a couple of missions, and then we will kind of launch you forward. This is going to be how you get yourself out of the starter area and on your way to riches. Classic rags to riches basic tutorial. So as we approach Mason's Dock, you get a nice view of this ringed world. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Right, so I'm not always going to show you this transversal time. We will be cutting in and out at the different, to give you the juice, to give you the actual parts of the video you'd like to see. But just for this video, we're going to show you everything, just the raw footage of how it works. So now we have arrived. We've dropped out. The Super Cruise Assist did its job and got us right in front of the station. Now, you can see a hologram. Yeah. Okay, we'll comply. It's fine. Hold your horses. Okay, so you have the hologram of the station, and here is a tip. A lot of people have, we just happen to be at a pretty decent spot. We've landed, well, we can see the entrance. Okay, so sometimes you will land towards the bottom of the station, and people get frustrated because they cannot find the mail slot. Here you go. If you target the station, okay, so press your target button, you get a different hologram. And you can see along the sides of the station, in the hologram, there's arrows. So if you were to come around the back side and you couldn't see that mail slot, when you target it, you're going to have arrows pointing towards the mail slot, and they're on all sides. Okay, so if you just target it, that's a very easy and simple way to figure out which side of this thing the mail slot is on. However, we have a docking computer, and we're going to use it. So you have to be within 7.5 kilometers to request docking. So we're going to move to within range. There we go. And you go over to your left-hand panel and select contacts. Okay, so now Mason's Dock is in your contacts. And careful here, I'm almost going to do it. You don't want to smash into the station, so throttle down and just request docking. And now, because we have a docking computer installed on our ship, our ship is going to automatically bring us in and dock us. I do recommend that you learn how to dock yourself. It comes in handy. Learn how to transverse Super Cruise on your own manually. But in the beginning, these are fantastic tools to kind of lower the curve for you. And I highly suggest that you use them. Just to get, because you've got so much to learn right now, like landing, you could have been here 10 minutes trying to figure out how to land. So the docking computer is fantastic. Oh, and here's another great opportunity. In the radar, okay, you can see these rectangles. They represent ships. Okay, so the hollow ones, you can see there are 2 hollow rectangles. Those are other players. A player will only ever show up as a hollow rectangle. NPCs are the same shape, but they show up as a fully shaded in rectangle on your radar. So that's a very easy way to figure out who's a player and who's an NPC.
Access starboard services from the menu in the center of your dashboard. Then select a mission board from the general services list on the left of the presented screen. You'll be able to hand in your assigned mission to the Pilots Federation representative here. This will formally complete the mission.
Yahoo! Okay. So we'll go into the hangar and do exactly what Theo told us to do. We go to the mission board tab, and look at there, our mission is right there and available to hand in. 10,000 credits. Thank you.
Well done, Commander. You've proven that you can travel between systems and navigate the mission board. From this point on, you'll be choosing your own missions. A variety of contracts are available throughout the galaxy to require a skilled pilot. Once again, there are training missions available to practice a variety of controls and challenges. The pilot's handbook, found in the internal interface panel, also provides a wealth of advice on most professions. I'll look forward to watching your progress, Commander. Make us proud. This is Theo Acosta, signing off.
Okay, so now that we've had a chance to listen to Theo, I'm going to, since I'm here anyways, I'm going to take a couple more of these kill contracts. Andy Booth. Okay, so we take that. Take down Scotty Swift. Okay, so we have a bunch of these contracts to do now, and we have 10,000 credits. So let's see, can we do anything with that? I think what I would really like to do is possibly get a... No, we cannot afford that at all. What about a multi-cannon? Oh, we can afford a multi-cannon. How about that? Should we, though, is the question. They only have a fixed. I don't know if that's good for this this tutorial. Cannons. Can't afford a cannon. And only fixed. Weird. Can't afford a beam. Ooh, what about it? No, definitely can't afford a rail gun. But we can afford a fixed mounted multi-cannon. Let's do her, I think. Yep, we're going to break ourselves and we're going to buy this multi-cannon. Yeah, let's store that. Just in case we need it. We don't want to throw away our loaned pulse cannon laser. Okay, so this is a good opportunity to go through another step. I don't think no, we have no more money, or not enough to buy anything. So we have a multi-cannon and a pulse laser. You can do that, you could go out with the 2 pulse lasers. But now in your right hand panel, you're going to see fire grips. Okay, so this is another very important step. They did automatically set it, which is great, but I'm actually going to change it. You can see if you go down to multi-cannon and click it, or with your trigger or your select button, it will change it to 2. So that means that our pulse laser will be firing on trigger 1, and our multi-cannons will be firing on our secondary trigger. And you can find out those options in the control options. And I'm going to assume that you've gone through there. Press escape, go into controls, go through those options and figure out, your basic controls. That will evolve with time. But what I'm also going to do is in our secondary fire group, I'm going to select data link scanner, which is these are something that they don't do for you. And secondary fire is going to be discovery scanner. So now that we have that accomplished, we are going to launch out and we're going to start to tackle these missions. And you can see we have a ton of them to do. Oh, and there's actually a resource extraction site here too. That might be fun. Go check that out. Pilot's Memorial Drumming. Cool. Maybe later. So again, we go the same process. I'm going too fast. In the transactions tab, just go to the first mission, open galaxy map, and you can see how handy that is. It takes us right to our destination, and most of our missions are here. So we're going to select this route. You can see it's 2 jumps. We are busy here in Drami. Okay, I'm not going to wait, and you can do this too. So if you throttle up, you'll take control of your ship, and you can see this is the reason we got a big beluga coming in. This is the reason we are in queue. But we're not going to wait because we're impatient. I am going to pilot this ship out of the mail slot manually. You could wait if you want, of course. Use your tools. Boost away. Now again, we have to wait until the mass lock is gone. So again, in the bottom right hand side of your screen, underneath the fuel gauge, you can see that highlighted mass lock. Oh, and now it's gone away, so we can charge. And again, in the upper left hand portion of your radar, you have that gimbal lock. So bank up until you see the shaded in circle and line up your crosshairs with it. And off we go. Okay, so now we're in a new system that we've never been in before. Remember, now look in your options and keybind this, okay? It is, actually we might as well do that since so we go into escape, options, and controls. Okay, in your, I believe it's targeting? No, oh, nope, 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 nope. Weapons. Yes, okay, so in your weapons, you may or may not have a keybind for this. Of course, I'm using the HOTAS and I'm all set up to do this, guys. So you need to select or keybind both of those, next and pre, or at least a minimum one of them. And this is how you select the fire group that we set up previously. And now that you're in a new system, you want to go over to that fire group you set up. And here's another handy one, mode switch. Okay, so you cannot use these scanners in combat mode. So again, if it's not set up for you, you go into options, and I believe it is mode switches. Mode switches. Is it not? Yes, it's there. So at the bottom of mode switches, you have cockpit mode, switch cockpit mode, and I have it bound. I don't know if that's default, but I have it bound to both M and I have it on my HOTAS as well. So you want to keybind that back into the game, and we'll mode switch. And now we can use this D scanner. And this is going to get us some money. So guys, make sure that you are doing this. 10 bodies established. That is what we call honking. Okay, and you want to get into the habit of that because it's going to get you a little bit of money. And every little bit counts right now when you're beginning, guys, so you might as well take it. So we'll line up for the next jump in our route. And off we go. Okay, so I think we have one more jump, but again, get into this habit, guys. Honk the system. There we go. And make your jump. So for the next part of the tutorial, I'm going to show you how the nav beacon works. This comes in incredibly handy when you're doing missions. Oftentimes, there's something called a signal source, or an unidentified signal source. And these are instance pockets that pop up in space. And oftentimes your mission targets, or even if you're looking for cargo in space, or anything that you may have taken mission-wise, it shows up, as you can see, as these unidentified signal sources in blue. However, what the system doesn't tell you is that anything past about 1,100 light seconds you can't see on your radar when you first jump into system. Okay, so if we had a mission source that was somewhere along here, it wouldn't show up, and it would be invisible to you. Oh, we actually have a lot of them. However, if you go to the nav beacon, you can see it right there. It's in just about every populated system at any rate. You'll have this thing called a nav beacon. If you select it, we're going to go to it. Super Cruise Assist, and you can see that it is obscured. It's obscured by the sun, or the star, I should say. So don't run into the star. Kind of go around it, as it would be very bad if you ran into the star. And you can now see in the throttle, just to the right of the radar, it has a blue zone. Okay, you want to keep your throttle in that blue zone to prevent yourself from over throttling. But again, we have Super Cruise Assist, so as soon as we line up with the target, our auto computer is going to take care of that for us. So we will transverse down to the nav beacon. And like I said, this is very handy to get the information from the system. It's going to give you all of the signal sources, all of the planets, everything that you may not have scanned or may not have. Some systems will show you undiscovered. So if you've never been there before and it's not a known system, a lot of things will show up in your contacts tab or your navigation tab as undiscovered. So if you go to the nav beacon and scan it, it gives you all of the information on the system, including your mission targets. So you can see it on the radar. It's the white blob. Okay, so you can just pitch up and target it. Okay, but another way to do that, if you're getting confused, is in your contacts tab. In your contacts tab, it's going to show you all the ships that are around you. So you can see we have a couple of Type 7s, and we have the navigation beacon. So this is another way to target something. You just select it, and it will automatically target it. And you can now see on your radar it is also targeted. And you have to wait for it to scan. On the left-hand side, bottom, you can see that it was working. And it says scan complete up at the top. System data download. Okay. So we're good. And we had some updates. So if we look in our transactions tab, nothing seemed to have updated. If you go up to your navigation panel, there's another option with your notifications. Oh, and it tells us nav beacon scan data. Scan complete. Your target's last known location is being uploaded to your ship's system now. Okay, great. So we will engage our hyperdrive again. Oh, and this is another thing before we take off. In controls options, you have two different types of faster than light drives on your ship. By default, I think it's miscellaneous. It is. So under flight miscellaneous, by default, what you have selected is toggle frame shift drive. Okay, so this doesn't care which one it engages. It's only going to engage. It's a kind of like an intelligence system. It engages one that it believes that you want, and you can run into some problems with that. If your target is behind a star or a planet, you may not be able to jump to it. So if you're trying to jump into a new system and you just press that button, it's going to say, hey, I can't do that. But it doesn't know enough to put you into Super Cruise. So I suggest you delete that binding and you make two separate binds. One for Super Cruise and another one for hyperspace jump. That way you separate the two drives and you never run into that problem. I have that done, and I highly recommend you as well do that. So back to the game. We are going to engage our Super Cruise drive. And again, you must be going at a decent speed to make that happen. And off we go. Okay, so I didn't honk this system. Even I forget. So we're going to do that. There we go. And in our navigation panel, which they were there before, of course, we have some mission targets. Threat 1. So you select it, Super Cruise Assist, just like we've been doing, and you head over to your mission target. Now, you cannot fire your weapons in discovery mode, just like you can't use your scanners in combat mode. So make sure that you switch your mode back to combat mode. Select your fire group. Okay, well, it's not going to show us that we did, but we did, because the weapons don't really deploy in space. Or in Super Cruise, I should say. And like I said, we are going to start cutting these transversing times, but as a beginner, I feel that it's important that you see what the procedure is, so that way you can start taking missions. And do you have to take the combat missions? No, you absolutely don't. I would recommend that you do, because in my opinion, it's the fastest way that you're going to start getting modules on your ships, and it's interesting. There's no risk here. As you're going to see, in the starter zone, the enemies do not fire back at you. You are 100% safe to just kind of play around and kind of test some combat out. And why not? I'm sure you're probably maybe go, oh, I'm too afraid, or whatever it is. And I'm pressing buttons. And most people tend to go towards like travel or cargo contracts or bring data contracts. It takes a lot of time and they don't pay as good. I mean, we're gonna make off a one kill 30,000, and I believe we also get a bounty voucher from killing the target. So each target we're gonna make something like 50 and 70,000, and we can just bang them out here. And what you're gonna see. Okay, so we come down here and we have some targets. Deploy your weapons. And you can see once, you have to wait for the scan to go, but once you get them in, this is scanning the ship. And this is a mission target. And we got some data from them as well. So let's light them up, guys. And you can see he does not fire back. He just kind of goes around. And he doesn't even fire a shot at you. So you just got to chase him down. You can see I'm struggling a little bit with the multi-cannons. But there we go. Kaboom. He didn't even fire a shot. And we got a 10,400. Actually, is that changed now? Yeah, 52,000 for killing him. Would you look at that? Okay, so we had, I remember we were seeing some other targets, so let's see if they're still here. Did he leave? No, that's a food canister. Bet you we could steal that. Oh, we have an eagle. He is also a mission target, and he is a shield. Alright. Let's go after him, boys. Shields down. Oh, I really wish that we had a gimbaled. It's okay, we're gonna shoot him. And down he goes. Yeehaw! I believe we had a third target. Oh yeah. Oh, he's leaving though. This guy's running. Get back here. Where do you think you're going? Nah, he's gonna get out. Okay, so we're going to engage our super cruise drive, guys, and go off to the next mission target.
3, 2, 1, engage.
There we go. Navigation tab, and we have another one that's quite close. So let's pitch around. We engaged our super cruise assist, and that's going to bring us to our next target. So just to recap what we've done so far, I did the starter mission, which is just welcome to the galaxy, and it gives you 10,000 credits. What I did with that 10,000 credits was I bought a fixed multicam, and I replaced one of my pulse lasers with that fixed multicannon. You don't have to do that, but if you are going to take this approach, I do recommend it because the multicannon does quite a lot better on the hull of the ship. I was forced to buy, they didn't have one at the station, and I'm impatient. I was forced to buy a fixed multi-cannon, which means I have to manually aim that at the reticle, and I'll explain that a little bit better on our next encounter. However, I took a few contracts to kill some pirates, and we're doing that now. So that's about where we are. We covered jumping, we covered our discovery scanner, and fire groups as well. So quite shortly, we're going to be landing at this mission target. Okay, so we have recovered from a crash, and we've got everything rebooted, and we're going to continue. We're a little bit further away from the target than what we were when we crashed, but the same thing. We're just going to head over, Super Cruise Assist, and hopefully we don't crash again. So as I was saying, in this engage, I'm gonna go over how a fixed multi-cannon works a little bit more in detail. You saw me use it in the last clip, but I think it would be helpful to actually explain how it works. Multi-cannon fires a projectile. It's like a bullet. It's a machine gun. Okay, so it does have a traveling arc, I guess, as in, or a speed. It's not like identical, or it's not light speed like a laser is. So when you deploy your hard points, you're going to get this little circular reticle, and you can see my pulse laser is gimbaled. Okay, so it's automatically going to lock on to where it needs to be to hit the ship, and you can see it does have a little bit of a jitter, but the multi-cannon is this circular reticle. Okay, so if I start lighting them up, you can see that my pulse laser will continue to aim where it is, but in order to get the multi-cannon to hit, I have to get it into that reticle. Okay, so it takes a little bit of practice to get it to work, but if you get your reticle in there, you'll land some shots. And as you can see, like I was saying, these guys, they don't even shoot back at you at all. Okay, so it's literally shooting fish in a barrel. As long as you can land your shots, you are gonna kill this guy, unless he runs. That's what I have encountered that in the beginner area. These guys will start to run away on you, so you do have to kind of do it in a timely manner, but you are not at risk at all of death by doing this, which is why I recommend that this is the course that you take as a beginner. And you can see this Cobra is going down. God, I'm horrible with fixed multi-cannons. Okay. Yeah, this guy is going down. Kaboom. Okay, and we have a couple of other guys over in this corner. Let's see if we can nail one of them. Come on, boost for me. Give me some power. Oh, another thing I didn't. In the right side, you can see there's tabs. System, engines, and weapons. We call these pips. And pip management is incredibly important. You can change those pips. You can see I go over to systems, 4 into engines. This is the equivalent of Jean-Luc Picard saying, "Full power to the weapons." Okay, so it's going to give you more power, and so the way I'm doing this right now, this will change, like, based on your ship build, and as you start to get to more difficult enemies. But as I said, these guys don't even shoot at you at all, so you don't have to worry about pips into systems. Systems will give your shields more strength. Engines will give your engines more strength, and weapons will obviously give your weapons more strength. So if you were to not put anything in weapons, we'll do that. Okay, you can see that capacitor drains. Okay, and eventually your weapons stop working. Okay, so you must have power into weapons in order to use them continuously. You do have a little bit of reservoir, and same with engines. If you want to be boosting, you have to have engine power. And you do have some power, so you can get a boost. In this ship, only one boost. Some ships you can get 2 boosts out of a charge on your engine. But if you want to continue to do that, you have to manage those pips and continue to put power into those systems if you want to use them. And there's also an advantage to having pips in systems. 4 pips in system actually makes your shield stronger. Pips into engines actually makes your engine stronger. It helps with your maneuverability. We are going to deal with this Cobra in short order. And there he goes. Okay, so Another thing to point out is when you blow up a ship, he drops loot. Okay, and again, you can find these things in your contacts tab. And you can see this is a material that is undiscovered. I would get into the habit of scooping this stuff. So I believe the home key is by default. But if you deploy your cargo scoop and go into your options and figure out, if you can't figure out what the button is, go into your options and figure out the button. And you can see instead of our gimbal lock, we kind of have a cargo scoop box. And you line up in the kind of the left, you see the blue? You line up your crosshairs on that. And you run it over. Now I know that in the tutorial it says be careful of scooping this kind of stuff because it could be illegal. That is probably the worst advice that the game could have given you. There is cargo, okay, and some of it can be illegal. But when you look at this, when it says material, this does not take up any cargo space, and this kind of stuff is going to be very, very useful to you later on in the game. So I would get in the habit of doing this, scooping all this stuff up. These guys drop loot. This is loot. This is not cargo. This is material, basically what we would call in other games loot. And you use this to craft better modules and craft better weapons later on in the game once we get there. So if you get into the habit of kind of scooping this stuff up all the time, you will thank me later. Okay, so we got the aftermath. And what we're going to do here, since I'm going to cut out real soon here, but we have completed a couple missions. We don't have the money for it yet. But look at that, guys. Look at it. Just from killing those 3 ships that we killed, or was it 4? I think it was 4. We have 175,000 credits in bounty vouchers. How do we get that money? Okay, so in normal space, I believe in the Pilots Federation space, the new player area, you can turn these in at any station. But when you're in the real game, you must go to the same system that you obtained the voucher. Okay, so there are factions, and we can run through that a little bit as well. I won't go into detail on this, but there are factions. Okay, we have 2 factions in this system. One is the Pilots Federation Administration, and the other is Raven Corsairs. Okay, and no doubt we're killing the Corsairs, and we have we have Pilots Federation bounty vouchers. So we'll be able to turn those in anywhere that the Pilots Federation is present. So if we go into a system and the Pilots Federation is not present there, we can't turn in those bounties in that system because the faction doesn't exist there. Okay, so that's kind of, we're getting into more advanced stuff there, but it's handy to know that if you're going, hey, I got these bounty vouchers and I can't turn them in, that's why. You have to go back to the system that you got them in. And land at a station and turn them in there. And that is what we're going to do. And I'm going to see if I can get a gimbal multi-cannon instead, now that we actually have some money. Oh no! Oh no! I am being interdicted by a mission target. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I put system power, and you can see even this guy, he pulled me over. Hey, you pulled me over, dude. Why are you running? Even this guy isn't gonna attack you. Okay. Like, they don't even fire a shot. So, like, I mean, guys, this is shooting fish in a barrel. To me, this is the only way to get started in Elite Dangerous. Get back here. Why are you running away? You're the one that pulled me over. Yeah, he hadn't expected this. You have no chance now. Oh, wait, I didn't expect this. No, of course you didn't. Hey, hey, no, 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 get back here. Where are you going? Okay. Alright, so now that we've handled that, I'm not going to engage Super Cruise Assist for this short distance. So we did have you push the to set up your fire groups properly, or your not your fire groups, your Super Cruise Assist and your hyper light jump. So you can just when it says safe to, I'm going to leave that for you to figure out. I can't tell you everything. Well, come on, it's actually pretty simple. Once you get into range, you just press your Super Cruise button and you will drop. So request docking. Once you get a little bit proficient at this, guys, you're going to find that actually doing this on your own is a heck of a lot faster than letting the computer doing it. So if you're doing it yourself, you just fly in the mail slot. You don't have to go out there. They will yell at you if you're going too fast, but you know what? I'm my own pilot. I'll do what I want. I'll do what I want. Okay, so you can see again in your gimbal lock, which we explained earlier, it has that shaded circle again. And that's where your landing pad is. 27, right there. Okay, put the landing gear down. Now this is a little bit harder when you do have when you have an auto dock installed, because as soon as you throttle down to 0, it's going to automatically dock you. But a little bit of manual docking there. Okay, so I was going to cut, but I think we're going to see if there's a gimbaled multi. Oh no, we wanted to show you I'm rambling a little bit. The contacts is where you hand in your bounty vouchers. Okay, so this contact tab, you're going to have an authority contact, Chuck Wolf. The authority contact is where you hand in your bounty vouchers. Okay, and you can see here we have 175,587 credits worth. Oh, sweet. Okay. So guys, we have some money. Let's go into outfitting. There is no outfitting here. Oh dear. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to cut here, guys. I'm going to finish these missions the same way I was doing it, and we will come back with the next episode of the beginner tutorial. I hope you enjoyed, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you get started in Elite Dangerous. And just knock out some of these missions, hand in your missions back where you took them. I guess that's on where a little exit. That's again if you want to turn in one of these missions that you've done complete the same way as you went there. Open Galaxy map. It tells you where you got to go to turn it in. Okay, and then alternatively, it actually does tell you in the mission text, collect your reward from me at Coleto Station in Matet. Okay, so you can see destination, Starport, Coleto Station in Matet. That's where you got to go to turn that in. So I'm going to make some money, guys, and we will come back with the kind of the next step of this road to riches. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.